Hey friends, this episode today is sponsored by me. I have this reflections journal that I had talked about a few weeks ago, and I wanted to make sure I didn't mention it last week. And I don't know why I didn't, but this is for you for free. All you need to do is put down journal in the comments, and I would be glad to get it to you. It's a great journal I put together. It helps us reflect back on the year that we've had in 2024 and as we look forward to the year ahead. And I have several questions that are in here that help you kind of get thoughts brought together and reflect on the things that are important to you and how you can look ahead. So if you would like this, just comment journal in the comments and I would be glad to give you the link for this. All right, thanks for listening and let's jump into the episode. Hi, and welcome to the Flourish and Health Podcast. My name is Stephanie Book and I am so glad you are here. My hope is to help others see their life beyond where they currently are right now, move away from places where they feel stuck, and empower them to move into a flourishing life. Together, we will learn to recognize our true identity in Christ and apply a reframed mindset to combat the lies that we've been believing about ourselves. We will walk the journey of flourishing in our health, in mind, body, and our connection with God. I'm so excited to walk this journey with you as we create new habits of thinking and turn toward a life that is flourishing. Hey there, and welcome to the Flourish and Health Podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I'm so glad that you are here. Now, as we close out November this week, crazy, I know, we've been talking the whole month about looking ahead and creating our goals to make sure, they're aligning with our values and the purpose God has for us. We've gone back and we've reflected and we've looked ahead to things that we can start implementing and start making goals that are aligning with all of those things. And so I hope that this month has been helpful to you as we've been stepping into that and really taking some time to really focus on what we want to create for the new year. I know we didn't get into a ton of goal planning and setting and things like that, but I hope that you are coming into that idea of creating what you want for the next year with a good heart, prepared with your values secure and just knowing what direction you want to go so that when you sit down to do all of those goals, you are ready to do so. This week, since we are in Thanksgiving week, I wanted to step away from the goals and the setting and things like that and just really take some time to talk about gratitude and being thankful and just all of those things that encompass that. So I'm excited to jump into that with you, and I hope that regardless where you're at today, that this week will be a good time for you of Thanksgiving and gratitude, that you'll be able to have some time with those that you care about, whether it's a Friendsgiving or time with family or just an intimate time at home where you and the Lord get to spend some time together. I hope that you will be full of gratitude. When we're thinking of gratitude, it's more than just a feeling. It's a powerful mindset that can shift our perspective. It attracts positivity in our lives and more. The dictionary defines gratitude as the quality of being thankful, readiness to show appreciation for and to return kindness. Research shows that individuals who regularly express gratitude, they experience levels of happiness and reduce stress. Like, you feel better, right? When you are in gratitude, you feel lighter. You feel just more full of life. And so it is, and its research shows that it makes a big difference. So gratitude is important, not just because you are taught to be grateful, but really because it's helpful for your whole well-being. In Philippians 4, 6, and 7, it's a popular verse, but it's a good one for us to think about when we are looking at life and gratitude. It says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God." We get the opportunity to find gratitude in any situation that we're in. Sometimes exciting and wonderful things, and other times things that are difficult and really hard to navigate. But what's most important is we get to shift our perspective toward ways that help us see the growth. I know it's nothing new, and we've talked about this often, but in many different situations, we can stop and look for what we're grateful for. And when we do that, it flips the switch. It helps us see what is good, helps us recognize that we can grow from what's going on. It doesn't make it go away, but we can really recognize how we are under the Lord's protection. He's got us in his protective arms, and if we stop and look for that gratitude, we can sense and recognize, stop and realize, oh, he's got this. We are taken care of, and so we are allowed to set aside that worry and step into what we're grateful for, and it opens up the perspective and helps us see how loved we really are. Gratitude is something I have been learning about for a while now. I know that when we were little, we were taught to be thankful, right? As a child, we're taught to say thank you when someone gives us a gift, or they've done something kind for us, or they're just good to us. So we're supposed to say thank you, right? We've learned that. It's pretty, trick or treat, say thank you. It's ingrained in our minds. So we understand the basics of being thankful. But gratitude is more of an overarching presence of gratitude. We're thankful for all the blessings that we've been given. It is not the act of thanksgiving, but the whole encompassing of gratitude. I read this summary about the difference between gratitude and thankfulness, and I thought it was helpful for us to understand the difference. It reads, gratitude is a state of being, whereas thankfulness is the expression of that state of being. Unlike thankfulness, gratitude isn't an emotion or response to a state of affairs. It's a mindset rooted in awareness, acceptance, compassion, and non-judgment that exists regardless of external factors, right? So I love it's encompassing, right? Gratitude is that thankfulness all put together in an attitude, a way of being. It's part of being in gratitude versus being thankful for something. Okay. I hope that makes sense, because I think that I used to use the word interchangeably, but then I really realized the difference between thankfulness and gratitude. So hopefully I cleared that up a little bit more for you as well. Having that attitude of gratitude seems to be simple this time of year. As Thanksgiving is coming this week, we hear about thankfulness a lot more, right? It shows up on our social media and other areas, on TV and commercials. We see those ways of giving back and being thankful. This time of year, it's been a rough couple months, right? With all the politic talk and all of those things. And I am not talking about politics, because that is not in my wheelhouse whatsoever. So this is not going to be that. But I know I can feel the tense feeling in our nation right now as we're dealing with all this different aftermath of an election, and there's all kinds of emotions that are around there. And so I think that one thing that I've been able to do is just be able to continually refocus and look at the Lord, and know to be grateful for the God's presence in all of this. Because when we're in those moments of where we may feel out of control, or we're lost, or we don't really know how to step forward or move into different things, that gratitude is one thing that can pull us back into being in a place, a good place, an easy place, a more steady place. Because if we are followers of the Lord, we can trust that He is in control, regardless of what outcome, what way you feel about all the different things that are going on politically in our nation, or all around in other areas. We can look for that gratitude. We can find ways to be thankful for what we have, and have that overarching gratitude for the things that we do have, the things that we can control and we can step into. So I hope that even in the midst of all the craziness that's going on right now, that you are able to look toward the Lord and feel that sense of gratitude and understand what He's done for us. Awesome. So now that we have a little bit better understanding, right, of what the power of gratitude is, we can explore some ways that we can create some habits around incorporating gratitude into our daily lives. Sound good? So the first step, it's nothing new, I've talked about it before, is a gratitude journal. I know that some of you have heard me talk about this, but I'm wondering, have you taken it up yet? Do you write down anything that you're grateful for every day? I've talked about this so much, but what action have you taken in doing this? I think that it can be as simple as, I've talked about this, of writing something down on a piece of paper, but maybe you could put it in, if you don't want to do a journal, maybe you can put it on the top of your calendar, or Maybe you put some reminders around your house on sticky notes, like, what are you grateful for today? Like asking yourself, on the refrigerator, on the TV, on the remote, whatever. Finding places that if you feel like you're not getting into this practice of gratitude or doing a journal or writing things down, maybe you can find ways to encourage yourself to be grateful throughout the day. Maybe putting something on the screensaver of your phone that reminds you to be grateful. Maybe doing some different things that you can put in front of you to remind you that you can be grateful in the different things that you're walking through the day. So I think a gratitude journal is a great way to start, but if it's not something that you are ready to implement, then maybe use those sticky notes to put them around different places, or set an alarm on your phone to remind yourself to write down at least one thing we're grateful for. Because the more that we do that, that posture of gratitude, that overall arching way of looking at life will show up for you as you step into that. The next area that you can be thankful is expressing that thankfulness to people that you care about. When is the last time you told someone that you were grateful for them? Not a thank you because they gave you something or they did something for you, but what would it look like for you to take a moment and just say how much you appreciate them or thank them for who they are? Whether, it's a simple call on the phone or a conversation together or a note that you send in the mail. I mean, we all love to get mail that's not a bill, right? But what is something that you could do to show the love and thankfulness to somebody? What could that do for them? When we bless somebody else and we recognize what they've done for us and just love on them and just share our heart to them, it fills them up. But guess what? It fills you up too. And then it fills up that gratitude tank so that it makes it even easier to see the gratitude in life when we're filling others up with how we are thankful for them. So maybe try, what is one way you could reach out to somebody and tell them how grateful you are for them, or write them a note, or just next time you see them, just let them know without any strings attached to I just am really grateful for you. These different ways that you've been part of my life has just been such a blessing to me, and I just want to say thank you. So simple, but so impactful. The next one is mindful reflection. At the end of each day, reflect on moments that brought you joy or some lessons that you've learned. This is a practice you can cultivate this grateful heart continuously. It might feel similar to a gratitude journal, but maybe you're doing this with somebody else, like maybe your spouse at the end of the day, or maybe at dinner as a family is sitting down together. You can talk about something that you're thankful for each day, reflecting back on what has happened in the day, and even if it was a really rough day, or sharing the things that might have been difficult for the day that you can think of, but this happened, but I'm thankful for this. Once you've gone through that and found those things that you are grateful for, give that back to God, send a quick prayer to him, letting him know and thanking him for what he's done for you. It just postures the whole end of the day differently when you've taken that time to reflect. And we've talked about reflection too, but it allows us to pause for a moment and really look back at what has happened and what we can be grateful for. So especially this week, as we're in Thanksgiving, find those ways, maybe do that at Thanksgiving table, but maybe start making that as a practice. Maybe if you don't do anything like that, or maybe you only have gratitude time together once a week as a family, right? We're all busy doing all the different things, and maybe you have dinner one day a week where you're all together. That's a great time to start installing this practice. My husband and I, we always usually most nights we always pray right before we go to bed, and so we pray together, and maybe that's something that we can add in at the end of each day and be like, hey, let's say one thing we're grateful for before we go to sleep, just to add to that time, and just allow us to, we usually do thank the Lord in our prayers, but maybe asking each other would be a good idea. So look at that. Even for me, it might be a good way to have this reminder to do this together. Colossians 3:15 says, "And let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, to which indeed you are called in one body, and be thankful." Let's practice gratitude and invite Christ's peace into our hearts. And the last area I thought we should talk about is being thankful in the journey, with our ups and our downs, learning how to appreciate every step along the way. Each experience, whether they're good or challenging, it contributes to our growth and our self-discovery, right? In James 1:2-4, it says, "Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness." It encourages us to view our hardships or struggles or missteps as opportunities for growth. Like, this is nothing new. I've talked about this before. I know in my life when things come at me that are difficult, I can quickly go like to the negative, right? Oh, and I'll quickly see all the ways that it's going to affect me, right? It's common, it's second nature for us all to see when something's difficult to be like, oh, like this is happening. Oh my goodness, blah, 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 right? We get so quickly drawn into it, no matter how hard we've worked to be able to bring in gratitude. But what I have been learning over time is how gratitude can shift the perspective very quickly. So it doesn't mean that it's going to stop the situation or make the situation even better at the time, but it does shift the perspective. I've learned how to step back, breathe, invite the Lord in, and look for those things to be grateful for, to what is something. And I know there's some really hard things that happen to us, but I can stop and be thankful that, I have eyes to see. It might be as simple as like, I have 2 feet I can stand on right now, or I have breath in my lungs. It might be as simple as that, because that might be the only thing that you can grasp at the time, but it does change. It does help lift somehow. And it also allows you to release it to the Lord when you're like, okay, I'm grateful that I have this. Lord, help me walk through this. Give me the strength I need. Help me to rely on you fully to get through this. And then thank him for the things that he is doing for you. It does, like I said, it doesn't make the situation stop or go away, but it does allow you to walk through it a little bit easier. Many times in life, things have happened not the way that I wanted them to, and we don't understand a lot of time when things come to us or don't come to us when we really think that that's what God wants for us. And then things shift and change. But most often, over time, the reason why it gets revealed to us, whether it's a different opportunity that's better, or you were protected from harm from something, or for a relationship that you thought was just right for you that was not supposed to happen for you, and there was evidences later. We can all find those times. And so one way we can look ahead is in those situations, in those times that are difficult, we can start that beginning of that healing by just looking for things that we can be grateful for. And it's not always easy, and it takes practice. But when we bring in some of these daily habits into our life of writing down things that we're grateful for, thanking those people that are around us, reflecting on the day, when we do all of those things, that is already posturing our heart and mind so that it becomes actually more simple to do that. It actually becomes part of your MO, like it's part of who you are. Because when you're so used to posturing gratitude and looking for that things to be thankful for as you're walking through each day, even walking through those difficulties, you are able to step into gratitude a little bit quicker. What we fear doing most is usually what we most need to do. Tim Ferriss said that. And that's a great quote to remind us to help us face our fears and challenges with that renewed perspective. Embracing our journey allows us to, find meaning and purpose in each experience. So friends, I hope that today has been helpful to you. I know we are talking about gratitude and thankfulness, and there's a little bit of heaviness, right? We some of us are carrying some heaviness right now. And sometimes when we step into holidays, they can be difficult because maybe we don't have the family that we hoped we had, or the friends that are around us. Maybe we feel really isolated and alone. And my heart hurts for you if that's how you are feeling, because I know that for me, I'm grateful. This year, my son gets to be home. It's been 3 years since he's been home with us for Thanksgiving. So I am so excited to be able to have Thanksgiving this year with my family because he will be home with us. So, I'm grateful for that. But I know for some of you, it might be difficult. So I hope that today, looking for the things that you are grateful for might be able to help you step into this week a little bit easier, helping you begin to start that practice of finding things we're grateful for. It's going to take a while if you're not used to doing that, and if it's hard for you to see things from that different perspective, it might be challenging for you. But I promise you, as you continue to step into that and really seek the Lord and ask him to help you, find those ways of gratitude, even just opening up the Bible and reading a psalm, there are all kinds of psalms full of thanksgiving and gratitude and praise to the Lord. And so maybe that will be a way that you can start being grateful, an extra idea of just stepping in and reading some different Psalms that show that heart of gratitude. And even those Psalms of lament, when there's sadness and hurt and pain, there's usually some gratefulness and thankfulness that are tied in, because we know that when we turn it to gratitude, when we turn our hearts to the Lord, it can make a difference. And then before I go, I do have one book suggestion. And I've talked about this before. It's called 1,000 Gifts by Voskamp. And I love that book because she challenges you to write down 1,000 things that you're grateful for. And so it was really cool to read through that. And I'm like, now that I thought about this and, I write in my journal, I don't always do it. I'm not perfect either. But I loved when I was writing and counting everything down, 1,000. It was really cool to be able to see writing that down and then starting it over. And so if that is something, if you feel like you're not sure how to even write things down or need some ideas of how to start a gratitude journal or step into gratitude, that's a great book. My friends, I thank you so much for listening, and I appreciate all the time that you spend listening to my voice, and I do hope that I'm helpful to you. Please remember to share and like the podcast, not for praise for me, but really so that I can get my word out so that other people can hopefully be encouraged, because I want you to remember that you are worthy and capable of amazing things, and your life that you have in front of you can be full and flourishing, and I want to help you do that. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great, wonderful Thanksgiving. Take care. I would love for you to help me and share the podcast. To make this a little bit more exciting for you, I have given you an opportunity to win a bundle of a few of my favorite books by doing so, by sharing on social media. So all you need to do is take a screenshot of the podcast or a picture of you listening to the podcast and doing something, or you can be creative, but just take that screenshot or that photo and post it on social media and tag me on Instagram at steph.book. Everyone who participates will receive an entry into the drawing, and you have until December 1st to take part. So I'm really excited to be able to gift one of you with my favorite book bundle, but it will also help me share the podcast. You know that I come every single week wanting to help you grow, help you flourish. And the best way to help me help you is by sharing that so that we can have other people join our community and be part of that. So I would love for you, again, just to share the podcast however you be creative as you want to be, and just tag me on Instagram at steph.book and share it with your social media, and I will enter you into the drawing. And again, you have till December 1st, and then I will let you know. I'll do a shout out on my social media. If you share it, I will share it as well. And then also you'll be entered in that drawing, and then we will let everyone know after the 1st who is the winner. So thank you so much. I appreciate each time that you step in and you listen or you watch, and just please continue to share that away. Thank you so much for joining me as we walk towards this life of flourishing. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and would love, love, love for you to take a moment to subscribe to my podcast and maybe even leave a review. Likes and reviews like yours will allow my podcast to be seen by others and hopefully help them as they walk through their own journey of growth. So until next time, please remember that you are amazing, my friend, and you are meant to live a life full and flourishing. Take care.